Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 305 Gridiron live for the first time since, I don't know, the end of the season. It's been a hot minute. Actually, probably live for the first time. I honestly think it's been since January, Josh.
Yeah.
Outside of doing breaking news shows and stuff like that, but even then, we haven't had a breaking news show in a long time. So today, we're going to get back into the spirit of being a live show by doing our top 5 NFL draft hits and misses from the Chris Grier era. We're not going that far back. We'll get into that in just a sec. Ladies and gentlemen, Dolphins across the nation, welcome back to the 305 Gridiron. We are here back with you live on the YouTube universe to talk about the top 5 NFL draft hits and misses of the Chris Grier era. Now, before we get into that, Josh, we probably should let them know about the format of this show. And Josh and I each have put together individual lists of our top 5 hits and our top 5 misses. They are not exactly the same. In fact, in some cases, we're completely missing players that the other person has. And along with that, we will do some honorable mentions in there because there's a lot of draft picks to talk about. Actually, more good than I thought there was, honestly. Going through and doing this exercise, I was like, there was actually quite a few good picks in there. But it couldn't make up for the fact that there was a lot of bad picks. It also couldn't make up for the fact that he didn't re-sign half the damn good picks, which is part of the problem of the Chris Grier era.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to talk so much about our top 5 picks, and spoiler alert, most of them aren't even with the team for longer than their first contract, and they were the top selections made. So the years that Chris Grier was GM, I believe we went from 2016 to 2025.
Yep.
He did 10 drafts for the Miami Dolphins as the de facto GM, no influence elsewhere, I believe. So that's what we're going to talk about. We do have one player who wasn't during the Chris Grier era as like him being the solo GM, but we couldn't go without mentioning it because this pick was just so tremendously bad. So we did have to include it.
Yes.
We also have a cool little visual we're going to share as we do this exercise, but I think it will be fun. And we're going to introduce you to our website as we do that visual. That's right. The 305 Gridiron is now live, so you can head on over if you want to catch out Josh's big board. You know I'm not a big board guy. Anybody who's been here once or twice knows that. But Josh over here is very much a big board guy. He has his own top 150. It is on the website, the305gridiron.com. Go check it out. All 150 picks. He probably forgot where some of them are because I don't know how you keep track of 150 people.
Yep. Very, very loosely.
And then we also have our off-season tracker, which is looking pretty bare right now. So what we did to kind of fill the gap there is we put a mock draft on there. Now this mock draft, I have to give credit to Josh. He did this one solo while in Dallas, probably on the can or something like that. It was a real quick, like throw it together mock-up. So don't judge too harshly. We will get a real combined mock-up on the website soon.
Hey, but sometimes, bro, that's where the best decisions are made.
Sometimes. Right. Actually, a lot of the time. Yeah, and then of course we have our goal of 250 subscribers by August 11th. So we have a long ways to go until August 11th. Appreciate it. If you are not subscribed to, go ahead and throw us a subscribe. It's I know it's cliche to say, but it actually is free. I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, we don't charge. We decided to be very fan friendly and not charge for subscriptions.
It definitely wasn't because we couldn't find sponsors. Yeah. That definitely had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. All right, Josh, I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen here. If you want to go and switch the screen of the display, we will get into our top 5 hits and misses of the Chris Grier era. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let me know when you've switched the screen and we will get started.
I have switched the screen. We are good to go.
Perfect. So we're going to start with you. You want to start with hits or misses?
Let's start with hits.
All right.
Yeah.
Hit number 5 on your board.
Yes. So for me, this exercise was a lot of fun. It was really cool to really dig into past Dolphins players during the past regime and really kind of get reacquainted with a lot of players that are no longer here or ones that have kind of moved on from the league. And so my number 5 was a cornerback that was drafted in 2026 in round 2, pick 38, Mr. Xavier Howard himself.
Baby.
Yes. And as I go up, you'll understand why he's not higher on this list because, for however his tenure here ended, he was one of the best cornerbacks in the league for an extended period of time while on the Miami Dolphins. And he made multiple, why this was a hit for me is because he made multiple Pro Bowl selections. One of the league's top interception producers when he was at his peak there was like a 4-year window where he was just on fire everywhere. And it was amazing to see him shut down half the field. And the fact that he was drafted in the second round, he really, in my opinion, outperformed his draft position. I did, and I don't know if you did this. I put notable players that were taken after each player that we will talk about.
I did notice that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm banking on yours here. I didn't put together my own list because I felt like yours was pretty good.
So notable players just for some fun, notable players taken after Xavier Howard were Derrick Henry, Michael Thomas, and Chris Jones.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Michael Thomas.
Hey, a guy we just hired drafted Derrick Henry.
Yes, he did.
Kind of skirted over that news.
That's something that we in the group chat I need to get onto because I don't understand why we were all down on the. I mean, if you go look at his draft class, he actually had a really good couple seasons there in Tennessee. But anyways, sorry.
Yeah, his first 2 were really. I mean, we're alluding to the fact we signed John Robinson to be our senior executive personnel.
Yes.
Some bullshit title like that. And yes, he had. When I was looking through his drafts, he had 2 really good drafts and a bunch of other really bad ones. But the fact of the matter is, he's not in charge of the draft for us. That's Sully's.
Yes. Now, am I going 5-1 and then
No. So I come back to me here because Xavier Howard, for all of the things you mentioned, but I actually weighted where he was drafted way more. This is a all-pro, regular Pro Bowler, second-round pick who locked down one side of the field. There was no safety help on Xavier Howard's side of the field because he was the island. All right. This was during the time of Revis Island. Xavier Howard was right up there with them. So Xavier Howard is actually my number 1 draft hit on the board.
Okay.
I could not look at all of the picks we made and look at where they were drafted and the value they brought to the team without giving X his due. And I might get some criticism here because of his off the field stuff. And that is perfectly fine. I agree. His off the field stuff became a problem. And he wore out his welcome with the team eventually. But when he was playing for us and when he was on the field, he was absolutely the most dynamic player that we had. Unfortunately, we couldn't win much for him while he was here.
No.
But to me, in the Chris Grier era, when I look at all these draft picks that we've made, X has got to be on the top of the list.
Yeah, X gonna give it to you, right?
X gonna give it to you. It's funny because... Well, I'll talk about it in a second here, but my number 5 pick is on the team currently.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, actually.
Don't even fucking tell me I go 5 to your 1, you go 5 to my 1.
It's possible. It's possible that's about what's about to happen. He's one of the most dynamic running backs we've had since Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown. He is none other than De'Von Achane. Of course, De'Von Achane, our current RB1. He's only been with the team for a couple of years, and he's already made a big enough impact to me, and I know to Josh because I just know his list already, to be on the top 5 hits list for Chris Grier draft picks. I mean, what else is there to say about De'Von Achane, man? The dude was what, a 3rd round pick?
Yep, 3rd round pick 84.
3rd round pick 84. That shoots his value super high for me. The only reason he's this low on the list is because he's only done it for 2 or 3 years so far. I think 2 years so far. If he keeps performing at the level he's been performing at over the next few years, he will quickly rise to number 1 on this list, which I expect him to do. But for now, because of the small tenure, I have him at number 5.
Yep, and I have him at number 1. He is my number 1 player on my draft hits. Look, you have a player coming out of Texas Tech in round 3, no less, that was deemed too small. Yeah, he's fast. Yeah, he's shifty, but he's not an in-between the tackle kind of runner. He decent receiver out of the backfield, but it's going to require a very specific scheme and some really good offensive line play for him to even meet his college, production. And he came into the league and was an immediate explosive production type player for this team in every aspect. His rookie year, he did struggle with blocking. It's not his strong suit because of his size, but he has gotten substantially better at blocking at the running back position and running between the tackles and breaking tackles every year that he's been on this team. Elite speed, it translated instantly. Perfect scheme fit for what we are going to be running, what we were running with Mike McDaniel, and what we will be running, I assume, is some version with Bobby Slowick. Just honestly, just dramatically outperformed a round 3 draft pick for what he's producing, which is amazing. And some notable players taken after him. I thought this was really cool. Sam Laporta, Tank Dell, and Byron Young.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sammy Laporta.
Who's
had a more up and down career so far, man?
Sammy Laporta. All right. So that means it is my turn for my number 4 player.
Yep.
Okay. Now, for those of you watching now or later, we just saw each other's lists. So we did not bounce this off of each other for weeks before we did the show. That was the point of this. So my number 4 player was drafted in 2019. Round 1, pick 13. Do you know who it is?
13th overall pick.
Yep.
We just did this with a defensive tackle, and I was very critical of it. It couldn't be a different defensive tackle, was it?
Well, it might be. Mr. Christian Wilkins himself is my number 4 draft hit in the Chris Grier era. Durable and consistent. Just a sheer force in the middle. Was a consistent producer of pressures, sacks, getting his hands up on batted balls, and just pissing off other players with his shenanigans on the field, which is one of my favorite things about him. Watching him, just joke around and really get under people's skin. And I think what was really big for me was he was genuinely durable. I mean, I think he played 89 or 92. I can't remember the percentage of his snaps as a Miami Dolphin, which is insane. And he was on the field for his usage rate was wild. Just a pure talent. Wasn't flashy, wasn't this big defensive end or this amazing safety or cornerback. Just did all the dirty work and did it well. I don't know. I kind of was mad. I was upset that we didn't re-sign him. I did not think my value placed on him from a financial standpoint was not in the 100 million plus, which is what he got from Las Vegas. But I'm all for players getting their money. It was just sad to see him leave because him and Sealer, man, they were amazing together. Notable players taken after him, just for the conversation, was Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and DK Metcalf.
I'd almost rather have any of those guys. No, but I like Christian Wilkins. I think he's in my honorable mentions list. It's been crazy to me. I never actually made the connection, him being 13th overall pick in 2019 and then doing it 6 years later to get Kenneth Grant. And that's the type of thing that makes no sense with Chris Grier. It's like, okay, you have this talent. You already know what it is. Re-sign him. Instead, it's like, no, we'll let him go. And then we'll just spend the same pick on another defensive tackle that may or may not be good. Of course, we don't know yet, but that never made sense to me. That being said, Christian Wilkins was the most fun character on Hard Knocks.
That was amazing.
And I originally had him in a category that I titled not bad. And then I thought to myself, that's a stupid category. So I put him in the honorable mentions for hits. Okay. Christian Wilkins was fun to watch as a Dolphin, and I was sad to see him go.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in my top 5, though.
No, I can't wait to see what your number 4 is.
Number 4 is so crazy to me because we argue about this player consistently on the show. And I thought for sure he's a lock to be in Josh's top 5. And then I get to Josh's top 5 maybe an hour before the show for the first time. And I'm looking and I'm like, this mofo does not have Jalen Waddle in his top 5. How is that possible? I have Waddle at number 4 being back-to-back. Was it back-to-back or just 2 1,000-yard seasons to start off his career? I truly think that Tyreek Hill actually derailed his career more than helped it, if I'm being honest. Waddle were his numbers because he was the only target. I don't know for sure, but I do think that signing a guy like Tyreek Hill will stunt the growth of somebody you're expecting to be the wide receiver 1 overall. And now I think he's stuck in like this okay wide receiver one Tory, and I don't know if he'll ever escape it. That being said, if easily one of the top 5 picks to me from the Chris Grier era just because of the production he's put on the field, which is a position that the Miami Dolphins have not gotten much production from through the entirety of the franchise.
Yeah.
Josh, we were talking about the top receivers for the Miami Dolphins. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yes, 2 weeks ago, I think.
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are both in the top 10 of that list already, and they are only here for 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad the wide receiver position has been for the Dolphins historically. So to finally get a hit at the position, I couldn't not put him in the top 5. And there are a lot of other really good contenders, and we'll talk about honorable mentions here after we're done going over our list. But I had to slide him in over guys like Christian Wilkins and a few others that we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, for me, it was kind of the same argument you made with De'Von Achane, where yes, his production is awesome, but he's only done it for a short amount of time. And then I did factor in, when I was doing this list, availability, injury history, when I would look at wide receivers, drops, when I would look at cornerbacks, interceptions, when I would look at, running backs and so on and so forth. So, Waddle is on my honorable mention list, and if I was doing a 6th spot, he would be number 6.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I love this exercise. We have to do another one sometime soon.
Yeah,
and I know we're not done with this one yet, but I just this was so much fun.
Yeah, I had a blast doing this, man. I really did. It was so much fun to, like we talked about right before we kicked this list off. It was really cool going back and reminiscing about good players that Miami has had. Now, it was not fun going through the draft misses and seeing the players that were taken, the notable players taken after him, because it was infuriating. Bro, I was so mad. I had to stop doing the exercise.
When we get to the one I mentioned to you through text, I might just flip the table. All right. Who do you have at number 3?
Yeah, number 3 was a player that we drafted, and then he left, and then he came back. Yes, I'm sure everyone is aware of who that player is just by that, but he was drafted in 2018, round 1, pick 11, at safety / jack of all trades out of Alabama, Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Minkah.
Yes, I love Minkah. Minkah has a place in my heart as a player that I was banging the table for, one that I loved coming out of college, because he was your do-it-all safety / cornerback. He could play every position, even linebacker. And it was so cool to see us grab him, because it was a time when we were drafting, some of the first round draft picks in the Grier era were kind of the head scratchers. And I was afraid we were going to trade back when he was available, or trade out, or pick, a second tier offensive tackle, or whatever the case is in 2018. But we stuck and we picked Minkah Fitzpatrick, and it was absolutely incredible to see. Immediate impact defender in his rookie year. He was all over the place. Now, he did not like how he was being used, which is why he was traded. But he was versatile, like we were talking about, everywhere. His football IQ is still to this day one of the highest that I've ever kind of have done film on in the recent years of Miami Dolphins player. And if you want to look at it as a positive, even though I didn't like us trading him, the fact that we did get premium draft capital back when we traded him. Yeah. So it was really cool. Notable players taken after him: Vita Vea, Derwin James was another player that I was banging the table for as a Florida State grad, and Jair Alexander, who as of late has not done well, but had a really good first couple years in the league.
Yeah, I remember that draft vividly, and I remember not knowing who Minkah was, but as soon as the talking heads saw that pick and went absolutely freaking nuts, I felt good about it. I was like, oh shit. Minkah Fitzpatrick, by the way, is number 2 on my list here.
Oh, cool.
So
all right.
Our lists are quite similar. That wasn't planned. I love a little variety, but it's okay. These guys were really good. Minkah was the best and saddest story of the Chris Grier era.
Yeah,
it was best because it was the best value pick, and it was in the first round. He fell. What pick did he fall to?
Pick 11. Yeah, which is crazy, because I had him that year ranked as a top 5 player.
Yeah, and then I think a lot of the draft analysts were saying the same thing, like Minkah falling to 11. There was the connection at the time, I think, to Saban, or at least they were talking about how it was Saban's favorite player or something like that. And he came in and immediately made an impact. He got to work, and then, of course, he and Brian Flores did not get along,
Mm-hmm.
which was a bit of a trend for players and Flores.
Yeah.
And of course, Chris Grier does what he does, and he does what the coach wants, and he trades away Minka Fitzpatrick, and then the next year they fire Flores, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why even bother? That if you had the inkling you were going to do that anyways, get rid of the coach, not the player.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was in
very
year 2, right? For Minka, it was not his rookie year, but the following.
It was year 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So
he
only played 1 year. Yeah.
Cost controlled. We had contract control over him from financial standpoint for 3-4 years after that. I was mad all around, in just another move, another tick in the fired Chris Grier bucket. You know what I mean?
It was just so nuts to trade away a guy who was immediately productive.
Yeah.
The year after you drafted him.
And somebody that went on to have multiple Pro Bowl seasons with Pittsburgh. Yeah. I mean,
like, you could argue that he didn't go on to be a Hall of Famer, which, okay, I guess that's an argument you could make. But it was too good of a player to just dump off a year after you drafted him. Especially even though we did get a good return, but
but especially since we're still looking for a good safety, still, and he's on the team. You know what I mean? I don't know. Who's
all right, man? My number 3, I believe I think it matches to your number 2, actually, and I don't think there's much to even say about this. This is the man whose bong video went around the world, dropping him down to the Miami Dolphins with whatever number pick 13. It was, 13th pick. Yeah. We've had a 13th pick a lot. Jeez, Marino curse. And of course, we're talking about offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil, who then goes on to get us a king's ransom. And I don't blame Chris Grier for taking that trade. Of course, the Houston Texans gave us more draft capital than most teams give up for a starting quarterback to get Laramie Tunsil over there. And, Grier, of course, didn't do much with those picks, but I fully agree with the move. And Laramie Tunsil's still playing to this day. I think he's on the Commanders now at this point.
He is. And still playing at a high level. I mean, still one of the best left tackles in football.
One of the best left tackles in the sport to this day. Part of me feels like it would have been nice to keep him, but I don't know. If I were the GM, I don't think I could have turned that down either.
Bro, it was like, what was it? It was like 4 firsts or 3 firsts and 4 seconds. It was something stupid like that.
I just remember it being picks like for 3 years in a row, and then we traded some to go even further. So like we didn't actually finish the Laramie using all the picks from that trade till like 5 years down the road. Yeah,
it was the gift that kept on giving. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, look, I don't have anything else to add. That's my number 2. Notable players, just for the sake of the exercise, that were taken after him for reminiscence sake. Ryan Kelly, Kenny Clark, and Chris Jones.
I do wonder, let's play a game for a second. I don't have the list in front of me, and I can't actually bring it up because I'm sharing, obviously, my screen. Who would we have taken if Tunsil didn't have the mask video come out and didn't fall? He was expected to be a top 3 pick in that draft. And then the mask video comes out and he falls to us at 13. If that doesn't happen, who falls to us and who do you think we take there?
I don't know. I'm trying to hurry up and type.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Once I see the names, I'll be like, oh, that's the guy that I was. All right, so that was the year. Let's see. Jared Goff went number 1. Carson Wentz went number 2. Joey Bosa went number 3. Ezekiel Elliott went number 4.
Ezekiel Elliott went number 4. That's insane.
Yeah, to the Cowboys. Jalen Ramsey went number 5. Ronnie Stanley. The offensive tackle went to Baltimore. DeForest Buckner was 7. Jack Conklin at 9. Jack Conklin at 8. Leonard Floyd at 9. Eli Apple, we're familiar with him, went number 10. Laramie Tunsil to us. And then it was, And then it was Sheldon Rankins. Let's see, Carl Joseph, Corey Coleman.
So we kind of lucked out because odds are that pushes Eli Apple to us, and we end up making that colossal mistake.
Yeah, or we go. I don't know. That year, I think Shaq Lawson was a big want for a lot of at the defensive end position. Tyler Decker for the Detroit Lions was another offensive tackle that Miami, I think, was tagged to. And I think it was Keanu Neal was one that a lot of draft heads were mocking to us in round 1 as well.
Oh, Keanu Neal. I remember
Yep.
him. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go through the honorable mentions and let me know if you want to talk about any of these guys. The big one for me that was extremely difficult not to put on my top 5, and there's actually 2 that were really hard not to put in the top 5. Number 1 was Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yeah.
He turned out to be a very solid player, though, and that's why I ultimately kept him off. I don't think he's an elite player, and I think the guys in my top 5 are. And then a mix of safeties, Brandon Jones and Javon Holland, were both extremely hard to leave off the list, too. I think other guys worth mentioning that we both kind of have on here. Jason Sanders, the kicker, of course.
Yeah. Yep.
Solid career for us. Robert Hunt, the offensive guard who took off and got paid. And
Javon Holland.
That's it. Javon Holland, yeah. Javon Holland.
Yep.
So everybody else we've already mentioned. So I had Christian Wilkins on mine. You had him in the top 5.
I had 2 on my list. My honorable mentions list.
I think you have him in your honorable mentions for a different list now. Looking at the show notes.
Oh, whatever.
I think you moved him.
Yeah.
So you can mention him in your hits if you want to, but that's not where he's listed on the show notes.
Oh, whoops. Oh, well. Where the hell is he?
It's under Eichenberg.
Oh, he's under misses. Yeah, nope. We're good. That's where I meant to have him. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Guys trending towards a hit, because I know we didn't mention 2024 or 2025 draft picks here because, everybody says 3 years to really know a guy. And anybody on the team from those 2 drafts or even not on the team from those 2 drafts that we took that are trending towards a hit for you?
Let's see. I have 2. I have Patrick Paul and Jalen Phillips. I know Jalen Phillips is no longer on the team, but looking at his tenure in Miami, I think, both him and Patrick Paul, I don't know. I mean, maybe a lot of people will say, well, Jalen Phillips is kind of a hit, right? He's a starting defensive end, but I still think he hasn't reached his ceiling and he needs to figure out a way to stay healthy, which I know he's never done since college, because he could really genuinely be one of the top 10 defensive ends in the league, in my opinion, given his talent. He just can't stay on the field. And Patrick Paul, I think, is already a top 15 starting tackle in the league, or left tackle in the league. So they're trending. They still need some work and they need to grow into their play. But what about you?
Yeah, I think I agree on Patrick Paul. The Jalen Phillips argument, I mean, if he stayed healthy, he'd be really good, but it just, can't avoid that injury bug. Somebody I forgot to mention in the honorable mentions for hits, actually. And not because he was an amazing offensive player, but because he was an amazing special teams player. And that was Jakeem Grant. And Jakeem Grant made the Pro Bowl as a kick returner and punt returner.
Mm-hmm.
And why I mention him is because I think Malik Washington is trending towards a hit for the same reasons. He's been very little production on offense, but his production on special teams has actually been fairly good. And if we don't re-sign D. Eskridge this year, that'll leave him open to being our de facto kick returner and punt returner. And I would love to see a full season of him having that opportunity to see what he can do with it.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like that a lot. Did you mention Brandon Jones on the honorable mention hits?
Yep, I mentioned him and Holland together.
Okay.
Both play safety, both drafted a little bit later in the draft. I think, was Jones a 3rd and Holland a 2nd?
Yes and yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon Jones was, when we first started the Fins forecast, we had this segment where we asked who we were going to regret losing.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys all had very high-level guys, right? Like Hunt and things like that. And I said Brandon Jones, and I still fully believe that. I thought Brandon Jones was on an amazing trajectory. We've been struggling at safety since we lost him and Minka.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. We don't like to pay safeties, and I can almost guarantee, like, if push comes to shove and Minka wants money, he won't be on the team next year, right?
Well, this is a different regime.
It is a different regime. Yeah. You're right. It is a different regime. But let's say if it was Chris Grier's decision, Minka wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah, true. Very true.
How about we get into some of the misses? Those are our honorable mentions, actually, or not honorable mentions. Those are our top 5 draft hits during the Chris Grier era. Please let us know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Give us your top 5 hits as well. It was from 2016 to 2025 was the era that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So let us know your top 5 or your honorable mentions or anybody you have trending towards being a hit in the comments below. All right, Josh, you ready to get into the misses?
Let's do it.
This is the fun part, right?
Yo, this is the depressing part because
It is quite depressing.
wait till we get to notable players taken after each one of these players. And
I only want to do that part though.
I only have notable players taken after my 5. I do not have notable players taken after yours, but we'll see
That's
how
okay.
much
I
we
have.
match.
I mean, at least for one of them, I can talk about who's taken.
Okay. Perfect. Who's starting on this one, buddy?
I will start on this one. I know we both have them on a list. I think this will be a painfully obvious one to fans out there. And actually, I'm going to talk about it later, but this first round was one to forget for Chris Grier.
Oh, boy.
At number 5, I'm going to talk about a cornerback who we traded up into the first round to take, and many of us were sat there scratching our heads, asking the question, why?
Who?
Why did we trade up to take this person that seemingly nobody has ever heard of? Mm-hmm. And that, of course, is Noah Igbenogany. Of course, I am imagining that, people have heard of him. I'm being tongue-in-cheek there. But the average fan, the casual fan, had no idea who the hell Noah Igbenogany was or how to say his name. He has had somewhat of a resurgence a bit. He played for the Cowboys for a little bit, and now he's playing for the Commanders, and he's, it looked like he was returning to a high level for the Commanders his first year there, and then he absolutely hit that wall that we've seen. We've been so familiar with as Dolphins fans, and had another down year last year. I mean, to give up the capital we gave to move back up into the first round when we already had 2 first-round picks in this draft, and then take a guy that you really didn't need to trade up to take, real head-scratcher, and I'm surprised he's not higher on my list. But yeah, Noah Igbenogany, big swing and miss by the Chris Grier era.
Yep, and he's number 3 on my list, so if you want to flip over number 3, there he is. Yeah, again, taken in the 2020 draft, as we are all too painfully aware of. Round 1, pick 30. Yeah, this one was very interesting to me because I had Noah as, I think I had him as a 3rd or a 4th round grade. So the fact that we not only took him in the first, but we traded up to take him, and he was coming out of Clemson, and he was, he struggled in zone, and he was a little too short so he wasn't really good at a bunch of things. He was great at a bunch of things. And you saw that on the field. And if you look at the notable players taken after him, are you ready for this? Sit down and hold your ankles.
I'm holding my ankles. What? My ankles?
Yes. Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, God.
T. Higgins.
No.
Antoine Winfield Jr. and Trayvon Diggs.
The worst one's Antoine Winfield Jr. because there's another corner freaking sitting there, and you with pedigree, by the way.
Yeah. And Trayvon Diggs, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
Diggs' career went down real fast all of a sudden, but
but I'll tell you what, man. The first couple of years in the league, he looked like a number 1 corner.
I don't know who we had at running back at the time, but I bet you it wasn't better than Jonathan Taylor.
I can almost guarantee you. All right, so my number 5. Right. Sorry, I know my 3 is open. Is That's actually a linebacker that we took in 2017. I'm slow rolling this to allow our viewers to maybe guess the player. We took him in round 2, pick 54 in 2017. That is a linebacker by the name of Raekwon McMillan. Look, I think he early in his career, the injuries were really derailed everything. And I'm not saying that that he wasn't talented, because I think we weren't able to find out, because once injuries hit, they just kept rolling with him, and he was unable to ever really put together a string of games throughout a season. And I think coming out of college, I think it was out of Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, he was a very good thumping middle linebacker. I mean, very good. I think he was taken where he should, around in the realm of the middle of round 2, where he should have been taken. But he just, he was limited in coverage ability, something that we are all too familiar with one of our favorite linebackers on this team. And in 2017, all of our linebackers were required to drop into coverage quite often, because it was a lot of those, disguised blitzes and coverages where you have the safety running down for blitz and you have the linebacker dropping out. And, it was just one of the picks that was a little head scratching given who was still on the board. Now, let's talk about who was still on the board, meaning notable players that were taken after Raekwon McMillan.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Alvin Kamara.
Oh, man.
Dalvin Cook, Juju Smith-Schuster,
The
and White Boy Supreme, Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
Cooper Kupp, dude. That one is the one I would like.
Him and Alvin Kamara, man. Yeah.
With hindsight, yeah. It'd be a really tough decision between him and Kupp.
Yeah. But yeah, so Raekwon, I think, was a total whiff in round 2 for Grier.
Yeah, I don't have him in my top 5. I do have him on my honorable mentions for misses, though.
Yeah.
He bounced around after he left us. I think he played for the Raiders and the Pats afterwards.
Yeah.
And yeah, just never really developed in anything. And then, of course, I know this guy isn't on either of our lists, so I'll talk about him. We seem to follow it up with Jerome Baker, who, we were so happy to have just because he was better than McMillan.
Yeah. Good in coverage, but that was it. Yeah.
A few years later, we find out, oh, this guy's not actually very good. But the crazy part about that is that like Alabama linebackers to this day still are considered a lock, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you take a Alabama linebacker and you got yourself a 5 to 8 year starter at least, and McMillan just did not.
Yeah, and I think I really do think injuries, like when I say derailed his career, I mean genuinely stunted his growth and prevented him from living up to what he could have been. And what that was, I have no idea. I don't know if he would have been a star in the league or even a mediocre starter, but not being on the field in your rookie season and then every year thereafter, not a really good look.
No. Welcome in AFC Easty boys. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining the show. We are talking about our top 5 hits and misses of the Chris Grier era. As you can see, we've gotten through our hits. We're working on the misses, but if you have any hits that you don't see on the board, please throw them in the chat. We would love to get your opinion on some good that Chris Grier did as we sit here and tear him to pieces.
Which we love to do. Who's your number 4, buddy?
My number 4 is a defensive end who everybody questioned when we took him, and I'm still questioning to this day because it made absolutely no sense at the time of the selection. It makes absolutely no sense now, almost 10 years later. And that has to be the defensive end, Charles Harris.
Wow, you have him low on your list.
Number 4 on the misses list. You'll see why in a bit, I think. But what is there to say about Charles Harris? He had absolutely no production in the NFL for us. He was immediately a disappointment. I don't even know if he saw the field in his rookie year, which led many of us. I know we didn't know each other at the time, but I'm sure you were questioning it as well. Like, why is the first round pick not seeing the field? Yeah. And he was just an absolute bona fide bust. The likes I don't know that we've seen since. And I know I have him at number 4 on my list, and there's reasons for that. But I don't think any swing and miss is worse than taking an edge rusher. And what was it, the top 15?
No, it's 20. Round 1, pick 22.
22.
Yeah.
The first round.
Out of Missouri.
First round edge rusher.
Yeah.
And we got 0 production out of him. If you're a first round pick and you get 0 production, that's a lock to make these lists when we do them.
Yeah. The reason I have, so he's my number 2. You can go ahead and flip my tile over.
There we go.
The reason I have him at number 2 was in part, obviously, due to his lack of production and the fact that when we drafted him with who I will talk to here.
I forgot to mention who was still on the board. Yeah, go. Yeah. You do it.
Who was on the board? Are you ready for this?
Number 30, right?
At pick 22. So pick 23 going later, after that. Tre'Davious White, the cornerback. Yeah. Ryan Ramczyk, good player. Buda Baker. And none other than TJ Watt.
Dude, no, pick 30, right? Pick 30 for Watt.
Yeah. Can you fucking imagine?
Dude.
Right. And
yes, because I was clamoring for him. How do you not after what JJ did in the league and seeing the work ethic and JJ was on I think he was on Hard Knocks that year. And you just saw all of like the effort that he put in. You had to know that the pedigree was there for TJ too, and just nothing, dude. Nothing. Yep. Like you took Charles Harris over a guy with pedigree. Again, it's like Chris Grier is allergic to pedigree.
Yeah, and AFC Easty Boy says best thing Chris Grier did was not fight to keep his job. Yes, I agree with you 1,000%.
He probably thanked them when he was fired.
Yeah, but I got to be honest with you. This Charles Harris, it has to be higher. It had to be high on my list, and the only reason he wasn't number 1 was because of the player I will talk about when we get to number 1. Yeah. It's just the combination of players that you did not take and the fact that he was just bad. I mean, like ass bad. You know what I mean? It was horrible. And Jorge, welcome.
Yeah, now that we're talking about it, I definitely should have had him higher. But you know what? The list is the list
Hey,
right now. It's locked
this
in.
is the list, buddy.
It's locked in.
It's locked in. All right. So my number 4 then in that case, and I will not, obviously, when we get to 2, obviously I will not talk. My number 4 on this list is a player that is still on this team that we have re-signed. We took him in 2020. Again, I'm slow rolling it to allow you guys to try to figure out who it is. He is an offensive tackle.
Another 2020 draft pick?
Yep. We took him round 1, pick 18. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's none other than Austin Jackson. He's my number 4 draft misses. Now, some of you might say, well, why is he a miss, Josh? He's a starter. He's still on the team. We re-signed him. It's because he didn't, in my opinion, it took him quite a long time to even get to a serviceable right tackle standard in the league. And he can't stay healthy. This man cannot stay healthy. I think he's had one season, which was not this most recent season.
It was a good season too. It's a shame.
Yeah, it was a season before where he stayed healthy all year, and it was phenomenal. And it looked like he had turned the corner, and we were singing his praises, and it was amazing. But one season in 6 years, I'm sorry, like at pick 18, when I talk about the players that were notable players that were taken after him, you'll understand why I'm pissed. Because I was clamoring for one of these players specifically. And I don't know. It's just inconsistent development. You can't stay healthy. When you're taken to what you said earlier, when you take a player this high in the first round, your expectations are that this player not only develops quickly, but produces early. And none of those happened with Austin Jackson. Notable players taken after him: Justin Jefferson.
Wow.
Yep. CeeDee Lamb. Would have taken either of those. Brandon Ayuk. So 3 wide receivers. And then the player that I wanted really bad that year, Tristan Wirfs.
Jeez, Tristan. Every year, dude. Every time we have a bad pick, it's like, oh yeah, this other guy at the same position who ended up being an all-star. He was still on the board, by the way.
Yeah, and available.
Ridiculous.
Crazy. All right, so who's your number 2, buddy?
Yeah, so I had obviously had Austin Jackson at number 3. I agree with everything you said. I mean,
shoot, I didn't see that. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I flipped it while you were talking, and I threw you off here. Austin Jackson at number 3 for me. Is he worse than Charles Harris? It's arguable. I might move Charles Harris above him, but the problem is that we're now 2 out of 3 of our 2020 first round picks that end up on this list. You had 3 first round picks. That's franchise defining draft capital. And now there's 2. We both have 2 of them on the misses list already.
Well, and Austin Jackson, we both have one of the other one on the honorable mentions miss.
Right. So, and Austin Jackson, to me, he had one good year, and then Dolphins fans were so desperate for him to be good that we started touting him. But it's like, dude, you've been in the league for 5 years. You have one good year to show for it, and 4 injured years to show for it. And that rolls right into what my next pick is. And it's the same thing. Like, this guy actually shows an immense amount more talent than Austin Jackson. But we picked him in the first round at pick 18 in the 2021 draft. He's supposed to be the edge rusher of the future, right? He's going to come in and he's going to fix our game, our edge room. And it just never happened because he couldn't stay on the field. And now he's not even on the team anymore. And that goes to Jalen Phillips. I have him as my number 2 draft miss in the Chris Grier era. And here's why. It's expectations thing for me. Yeah. The expectations for Jalen Phillips couldn't have been higher. And it flashed on the field, right? Like, we saw him be amazing as a pass rusher, an amazing set of moves, an amazing drive off the ball. Half the time, it looked like he was reading the snap before the offensive linemen were. Like, incredible talent. And just one injury after another. And no, that's not his fault, but it is Chris Grier's fault because this was a thing that happened in college. And you still chose to take him at 18 overall. And I don't have the list, and I know you don't have the list either. I don't remember who was taken after him, but I bet you there are some good edge rushers that are still playing at a high level in the 2021 NFL draft that were taken after him. And it just sticks with me, man, that we couldn't make this guy work, and that the team was so prepared to move on from him that they were the only one. He was the only one they traded away in this fire sale that we were supposed to have. during the 2025 season. And that stings.
Hold on, I want to pull up his draft class and just look really quick.
Yeah, but by the way, he went on to have a pretty good couple of games for the Eagles. I don't know if the Eagles will re-sign him, but he is a free agent now. So we got a third-round pick for nothing on that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was the year we also took Jalen Waddle at 6.
Oh, we had 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
How many first-round picks did we have between 2020 and 2021?
Well, it was Laramie Tunsil, man. This was all Laramie Tunsil. Let's see. So we took him at 18. Players that were drafted after him in the first round. Jamin Davis, linebacker out of Washington. Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver for the Giants. K. Woody Pay, the edge. There was an edge that actually has played better, in my opinion, than Jalen Phillips. You had Caleb Farley, cornerback. Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle. Najee Harris, who I think that year a lot of us were a lot of Finns fans were banging the table for Najee at the running back position.
We didn't get that one.
Yeah. Travis Etienne, the running back.
Yep.
Greg Newsome, Rashad Bateman. Let's see.
So
Peyton
no obvious
Turner.
ones in the first round, at least.
Oh, well. Gregory Rousseau was taken at 30 by the Buffalo Bills.
He's bounced around too,
Adafe Owe, somebody we said
we want him now. Yeah,
we want him now. He was taken at 31. And I don't even know how to pronounce it. Joe Tryon
Schwenka.
Schwenka was taken by it was an edge taken by Tampa Bay. Yeah. So quite a lot of great decent edge players.
Yeah, no amazing ones. That's surprising. I bet the rest of the draft may have some, but yeah, the first round.
Adafe Owe and
he's okay, but like
Rousseau,
he may not even get re-signed.
Yeah, Gregory Rousseau's probably the best edge in round 1.
Yeah,
maybe K. Woody Pay from Indy. I don't know. Anyways,
I don't think he had much of a career after.
So does this mean I really like that pick because I had Jalen Phillips on my potential hits like we needed to see, but I do understand fully, and it makes a lot of sense why he's so high on your list because you salivate at Jalen Phillips' physique. It's like he was made in a lab for the defensive end position, and you're like, dude, can you just drink milk or like
I'll
stay
be honest,
healthy?
A lot of my misses came from like the level of disappointment I felt in the pick too. So like it was as much as an emotional exercise as anything.
Yeah, it was
more so probably than statistically this guy sucked and wasn't that good. No, it was emotionally. I was invested in Jalen Phillips and he disappointed.
Yep, and speaking of disappointments, massive disappointments. Can I? Is it me or you? I don't want to steal your thunder.
It's you. Yeah, it's you.
Okay. So I don't think Chris Grier was the full-time GM for this pick.
No, he wasn't.
In 2013. But
it was him and Tannenbaum, I believe.
It was him and Tannenbaum, but it was like 50-50. So you know what?
It was tandem, yeah.
So you know what? He got credit for this. My number one biggest miss in the Chris Grier era was a player that we took in 2013 in round 1. And we traded with the Raiders. Now we didn't trade a lot for the Raiders to move up. I can't remember where we were, but we only traded. We swapped first, and I think we swapped third round picks or something like that. So we dropped like 15 spots in round 3, and they went up. It was something ridiculous because we went up like 12 spots or something like that. We traded all the way up to pick 3. So we had the number 3 pick in round 1 in 2013. And we took a player out of Oregon, a defensive end out of Oregon named Dion Jordan. Yeah. That right there, that reaction is what all of our fans just felt when I said his name.
It's so painful, dude.
I mean, in infamy, Dion Jordan out of Oregon.
The next Jason Taylor.
Yeah.
That's how he was described.
And in college, it made sense because you saw him in college and you're like, holy shit, this guy's like 6'5", 280 or whatever the fuck he was. I'm making that up. I don't.
The only similarity he had to Jason was the same
bald
lanky
head.
build. And
Bald head.
Yeah, I mean,
but I mean, it was just one of those players very similarly in the vein of Jalen Phillips, but even more so.
Oh yeah,
right. Because this guy, dude, you took him at number 3. You passed. Wait till I call out these 5 names that we passed on. You're going to throw up live on camera.
It was number 3, dude. Almost everybody in the draft after the fact was probably better.
Are you ready to know who we passed on? We traded up And we could have had any one of these.
Where were we again? Where were we?
I don't remember where we were, but we traded up to pick 3.
Up with the Raiders.
Yeah. I think we were like 12 or we might have even been early 20s because I remember the trade up and everyone's like, wait, that's all the Dolphins gave up? That's it? So notable players taken after Dion Jordan. Lane Johnson. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins would have been real fucking nice. Travis Frederick. Amazing. Yeah. Darius Slay and Le'Veon Bell.
Wow.
Yep.
By the way, we traded pick 12. We were at 12.
Yeah.
And 42 to move up to 3.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I remember the people like, wait, there's no, what? That's all the Dolphins gave up. Oh, they're going to get a generational player. And we took
why would the Raiders do that? I mean, it didn't work out for us either, but.
Yeah. I'm wondering, who did they pick? Hold on. Let me look it up while you talk about your number 1.
Well, I'll talk about Jordan a little bit too. So, I mean, the disappointment was, it's hard to even describe. It's hard to even put in words. You could probably see the emotion on our faces now because, legitimately, this was sold to us by all the talking heads. And, of course, talking heads are just talking heads, right? But that they are who we have to lean on during draft time, especially back in 2013, where the NFL draft wasn't nearly the spectacle it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Dion Jordan's the next Jason Taylor. He's got length. He's got ability. He's a little bit raw, but, he'll make the transition and he'll be an elite edge rusher for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
He made it 2 years before he got suspended for the entire season in 2015.
What did he do again? I don't remember.
Substance abuse policy.
Oh, yeah.
And then waived in March of 2017, which means he didn't make it to the 2017 season. So he played, 4 seasons? I'm not that great at math on the fly, but 4 or 5 seasons for us. Didn't even make it past his first contract as the number 3 overall pick. I cannot think of, and I allowed this to pass because I knew it wasn't really Chris Grier, like just Chris Grier, but I allowed you to put this one in there because how do we do a greatest misses segment without mentioning Dion Jordan? Yeah,
I mean, the players that, the defensive ends, well, I'm just looking at defensive ends that went after him. Ezekiel Ansah from the Lions. Then you go all the way down to Star Lutulele, who ended up playing defensive tackle. Then you look at Sharif Floyd. You look at Bjorn Warner. You remember Bjorn Warner for the Colts?
No.
Yeah, he was really good his rookie year. Dante Jones for the Green Bay Packers. And that's it. And I mean, a ton of defensive players taking this draft, but really, I mean, what a miss. Holy shit, what a miss.
By the way, the Raiders did nothing with those 2 picks. They took, if you remember this guy, cornerback DJ Hayden at 12.
Oof.
And then they took offensive tackle Menelik Watson from Florida State at 42. Cool. And neither of them worked out either. So
whiff central. Boy, that is the blind leading the blind, isn't it? Jesus.
Sure is. Shall we get to my number 1 miss? I think there will be some conversation here. I think there might be some shock. I don't know. Anybody who knows me might not be that shocked. My number 1 overall pick completes the hat trick that was the 2020 first round.
Oh, shit. Okay.
In the 2020 first round, we had 3 draft picks. Josh, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but 2 of those are already on the list. Noah Igbenogany was at number 30, I think. Austin Jackson was in the middle there somewhere. And I believe it was 5th or 6th overall. We took a small quarterback with a hip issue out of Alabama who threw lefty despite being a righty because his dad wanted him to or some shit. Some weird child traumatic crap that happened there. And, of course, it's Tua Tagovailoa. He is easily my most disappointing and biggest draft miss of the Chris Grier era. And if you're shocked by this, I suspect that. I was joking with you that I passed my list to the AI pre-show just to get have it spot check it for me. It did not like the selection of Tua as my biggest miss. Until I explained to it what my standards were here. And if you're taking a quarterback in the top 10, the expectation for me is that quarterback not only is going to be playing for you for 10 plus years, but they are going to have multiple playoff appearances, multiple playoff wins, and your team will be a consistent contender for the Super Bowl, because that's what elite quarterbacks do, and that's what top 10 quarterbacks should be. And the guy drafted after him has done a fairly good job of living up to some of that, while Tua has only made it to, you could argue, 2 playoff appearances, but he didn't actually play in one of them. So one playoff appearance in which he got absolutely steamrolled in the snow. Thank you, Tyreek, for dropping all those passes against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tua, to me, is on the top of this list, not only because I do truly believe this was a bad pick now, 5 years later, looking back on it, but also this was the most disappointing pick to me. We needed a franchise quarterback. We hadn't had one in years. And this was a really, really good draft for quarterbacks, man. There was one sitting there in Justin Herbert, who was the prototype, and I didn't even like him during that draft.
Yeah, neither did I.
But that's why I'm not paid to make these decisions, and Chris Grier is. And he still chose to go with the smaller quarterback coming off of the major hip injury. That's the emphasis there. The major hip injury. An extremely serious injury for a quarterback. That alone should have moved him down the board behind Herbert, but it didn't. But on top of that, Tua has just not been an elevator. He hasn't elevated the play of the people around him. He hasn't elevated the play of the team. Him being on the roster has not meant that we're a consistent playoff competitive for the playoffs on a consistent basis. And he had a hard start with him and Flores not getting along. He didn't even barely played his rookie year because Flores chose to play Ryan Fitzpatrick instead.
Well, maybe he was on something.
And, and then we get excited again. We get hyped again because Mike McDaniel comes in. He's like, I can fix Tua. And for the first year, it looks like, he may actually be able to do it. And then Tua just goes right back to being Tua. Yeah. And showing all the limitations that is Tua Tagovailoa as a thrower of the football in the NFL. And I really do hope that he ends up going somewhere and ends up having some level of success. But to me, I hope the Tua era is done in Miami. I am extremely disappointed in this pick as the Chargers continue to look to, Herbert to lead them to the playoffs and beyond. Who, again, this isn't a Herbert conversation, but he hasn't had that much success either in terms of playoff wins or playoff appearances. But you can't argue that he's had the better career at this point. And he was sitting in our laps, available to us, and we chose to take Tua instead. And this conversation, of course, isn't all on the player. It's, of course, circumstance. It's disappointment. To me, Tua is the biggest draft miss of the Chris Grier era.
Yeah, I struggle with this one because I did have him on my honorable mentions list, but, I have to respectfully disagree. Him being the most disappointing of all time. Because you look at his
all time. Just the last 10 years.
Well, right. But I'm saying, in regards to the names that we have, because I'm looking at his numbers, right? And versus, so his numbers in the 4 years that he's played or whatever that he started, he's 4th all time Dolphins history in passing yards. He's 4th all time in career passing touchdowns. He's number 1 all time in career passing rating. He's number 1 all time in career completion percentage, which are the 4 major statistics. So he's top 5 in all major statistical categories, leading 2 of them. And yes, is he a disappointment? Yes, because you pick him at 5. We were all tank for Tua. That was a thing. I know fans are like, fuck Tua. He does now. But coming out of college, everyone was there. There was a tank for Tua. Take him number 1 overall. He's going to be the best prospect since Drew Brees. Left-handed quarterback, short, smart, accurate, fast, high IQ and fast processing. And it didn't pan out. But, to say I have a hard time putting him number 1. I had him 5. Sure. But I do respect it. I do respect the choice. I do respect the choice.
Stats are nice if you want to paint a pretty picture, but in reality, the wins are the only stat that matters, and he didn't get it done. And
I wonder what is his winning percentage? Hold on.
Honestly, I think the fact that he's that high on the Dolphins list is mainly because we've only had 2 freaking good quarterbacks in our time as an organization.
You want to know who's above him in yards and touchdowns?
Is it Greasy and Marino?
Well, Greasy, Marino, and Tannehill.
Tannehill, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tannehill, I think, was the same story. If we were doing this just a few
Mhm.
years further back, I would put him in a disappointment list too.
Yeah, same. Yep.
You know,
He's a wide receiver.
I
Did
completely
you know he's a wide
expect
receiver?
pushback on the Tua being the most disappointing thing. Of course I do.
Mhm.
But I mean, just to me personally, man, like your quarterback is, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have shit.
No, agreed. And I don't know how good Herbert would be with the teams that Tua has had to deal with, maybe outside of 2013 or 2023. You know,
I think Herbert probably would have struggled with the Flores teams as well.
I think he would have been. Well, we're about to see how well he would have done with Mike McDaniel.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what he does with Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and Jorge actually called that out. He has Mike McDaniel as the OC. Very interesting. Yeah, it's going to be super interesting.
That's a good point, Jorge. I'm interested to see how Herbert does there, because Herbert, I think, in his career, has had a lot of just like old timer play callers, you know, and
yeah.
And then he was dealing with Staley as a head coach for a while, and then he finally got Harbaugh. But then Harbaugh had like old and busted at OC for a while, so it's like
that's amazing. Yeah, but I mean, you know, that Chargers team is talented. I mean, a lot of people say, "Well, Tua's had more talent around them than Herbert." That's bullshit. Like, I'm sorry,
I mean,
you're
some
talking
years,
about
sure, other years, no.
Well, yeah, we could say the same for Tua. We're talking about you know, players like. You know, he's had 3 solid wide receivers for most of his career, and Austin Eckler for the majority. When Austin Eckler was still good, right?
Yeah, I think Herbert's first 2 years were his biggest opportunity. He had Eckler, he had Keenan Allen. You know, like he had some talent on that team, and they didn't do anything with it really. And since then, they've been trying to rebuild because they spent a butt ton of money.
Yeah. Shall we get to honorable mention misses?
Yeah, let's talk honorable mention. Do you want to read off the list? Or do you want me to read the ones?
Go ahead and read the list, man.
All right, so Liam Eichenberg, of course, on this list was second round pick. He played like a depth role for the Dolphins for a while, and now it looks like his career is over due to injury, which is sad, but still a disappointing pick for a second.
Yeah, for these names, do you want me to? I have notable players taken for everyone. Do you want me to call out notable players? Because it's funny.
I would just do it for the considerable ones after I'm done, if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So Liam Eichenberg, Cam Smith, the cornerback. Remember him? Me either. Channing Tindall, Eric Ezukanma. I, of course, had Raekwon on mine, but you had Raekwon on your list. Cordrea Tankersley. Gosh, what a blast from the past that one is. Michael Dieter, Hunter Long, and then you had Tua on your honorable mention misses.
Yep. So Cordrea Tankersley, round 3, was the cornerback taken out of Clemson, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Round 3, pick 97. Notable players taken after him: Cooper Kupp and Chris Godwin. There you go. Michael Dieter, we missed out on Max Crosby and Terry McLaurin. So that was
really?
Yeah, that was super exciting. Wow. Hunter Long, we missed out on Amon-Ra St. Brown and Trey Smith. So that was cool.
Those guys were taken that late?
Yeah, well, Amon-Ra was taken, I think, like very soon in round 3 after.
Yo, the NFL is retarded, dude.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's insane.
Yeah. Channing Tindall, actually, one of the players that was taken after him is somebody that you and I both said we wanted our team to look at in free agency, Reek Woolen. Yeah, and Damian Pierce, and then Liam Eichenberg. This one fucking hurt, dude. Yeah. I hate Liam so bad.
I'm truly surprised that Channing Tindall and Cam Smith. I'm not that surprised, but would they have been like in the 6-7 range for you? Because I think they would have been for me.
Yeah, I'm not even saying 6-7 anymore.
So I forgot that that's a thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what? I think so. I'm, coming out of college, I think Channing Tindall, if I remember correctly, I think I had a 5 or a 6th round grade on him, and we took him around 3. But
they were like our first picks in those drafts because we didn't have first round picks.
Yep. Taken round 3, pick 103, 102. 2 players taken after Liam Eichenberg really pisses me off.
What's that?
Creed Humphrey and Trayvon Mooring, 2 of my favorite players in the NFL.
Is Mooring still playing?
I think he is.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. How about we talk a little bit about trending towards miss? These are guys who 2025, 2024, 2025 picks who we think are potentially trending towards the miss side of things. We both share one.
Yes, we do. And who would that be?
Unfortunately, it's Chop Robinson, dude. We have awful luck with edge rushers. What is the deal here?
Yeah.
I'm looking at Dion Jordan, Charles Harris, Jalen Phillips, all on this list as disappointments. And now we're talking about Chop as potentially being a disappointment. Listen, talent's there. He needs somebody to get him NFL ready. Talent's there. He's just not mature enough in the position.
Yep. Agreed. And we have a different number 2. We each have 2.
We do. Who's your number 2? Oh, I didn't see this before. That's painful to me.
I have Taj Washington.
Yeah.
I know it's very easy to say, well, he's a 7th round pick.
He's a 7th rounder, yeah.
Anything you get out of him is great. True. Right. And yes, I agree 1000%. But Taj Washington, for me, you see the flashes, right? Yeah. You raved about his first touch because
it was nuts.
It was
Too bad
nuts.
He fumbled it.
There was so much that happened in that split second. And you could see why he was drafted out of USC, because coming out of college at USC, he was a stud. I mean, like not like a top tier, obviously. He was taken in the 7th round, but he had talent. He was smaller wide receiver, very to your comparison, very Dollar Tree Tyreek Hill. Right.
Yeah, and I forgot about that reference.
Yeah, and it was true. It's spot on. And I think the fact that he, given all of the injuries that we've seen at the wide receiver position, including him, given the fact that he has yet to see the field on a consistent basis, is troubling. And I think, yes, he's a 7th round pick. Yes, anything you get out of him is great. Yes, he's a special team contributor. Agree on all of those things. I just had very high expectations for him, probably unnecessarily high, but high expectations on him in the realm of, because he's a 7th round pick. He's on my trending towards misses.
Remember his first training camp in preseason when everybody he was just lighting it up, and then he gets hurt, and we were like, "Oh man, poor guy."
I mean, he was everywhere, dude. He was everywhere. Yeah.
You feel so bad for those because 7th round picks don't make the team. I don't know, 75% of the time.
On our team, they do quite often, actually.
Yeah. But for a 7th round pick to be making that much of an impact that he's being talked about by the national media was nuts. And then he gets hurt, and it's that guy's gonna have a hard time finding playing time now because they're just not awarded that benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, agreed. Well, who's your second or your next player?
My number 2 is not somebody that I'm like, oh yeah, this sucks. He's done. He's a bust already. It's Jonas Savaiinaea.
Okay, that makes sense.
We got to call a spade a spade. He had a really rough rookie season, and if I'm looking for trends, well, his rookie season would be a trend in the wrong direction compared to his college tape.
Yeah.
I am one who is hopeful that the new regime considers moving him back to right guard. I know that would erase essentially his rookie season, and that's rough. But it's his natural position. It's where he trained for 4 years in college. I feel more confident in his ability to pick that up faster than left guard. And really, I just hope he turns it around. I really big fan of him. I was a fan of the trade up to get him. And I'd love to see, us have 3 solid offensive linemen and only have to fill 2 gaps rather than having to fill 3 gaps on a consistent basis.
Agreed.
Do you want to switch the view back so I can turn off this?
Yes, absolutely.
There
we go.
All right. So that was our top 5 hits and misses of the Chris Grier era. Let us know who your top 5s are in the comments below, who your honorable mentions are, or just judge our call outs. I'm sure that I'm going to get a lot of Tua stands up in the comments.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm standing in solidarity.
That I'm an idiot. And you're right. I might be an idiot, but I still stand by my take. Black Eye, he's showing up right at the end.
Hey,
it is his MO coming in hot in the 11th hour here. Let me mention again, the 305gridiron.com is now live. You can catch Josh's big board over there at the 305gridiron.com. He has his top 150 prospects on there. It's been this is version 1.
Yes.
Josh, I don't know how often you planned on updating that, every 2 weeks or so. I don't know. But I'm sure version 2 will be coming up soon because the NFL draft is just 60 some days away.
Yes. There will be a version 2 coming out right before the draft. And then there will be a final version coming out right post draft or post combine. Sorry. There will be a version. Let me start over.
So
There'll
post
be a,
combine and then
yes,
pre-draft.
and then
Yeah.
pre-draft. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Jesus.
Yeah. What's up? So, and then of course, the off-season trackers there as well. We will if you're like sick and tired of trying to follow Twitter or whatever, don't worry, we will put it on the off-season tracker. I'll be updating it as the moves happen, as we hear about them. There is like stuff in there that's their contract. We may not have that information right away, but we'll try to keep it as up to date as possible.
Yes.
Also, the off-season tracker has our mock drafts on it. The more I talk about it, the more I'm unsure if that's the right spot for mock drafts, but that's where you can currently find them in the off-season tracker.
I might need to think about making it its own tab.
We may need to. Yeah,
but we'll talk about it because
we'll revisit that. We'll see.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm super proud of this, guys. I am, of course, a web developer by trade, so to be able to put together something for the 305 Gridiron that will hopefully help you guys as well. Both of these, all of the stuff that's on the website was actually born out of just stuff that Josh and I wanted to see that we couldn't regularly find on the internet. So, of course, other than our videos, you'll find our videos on the homepage, but like we couldn't find a consistent big board that was easy to read and easy to follow, and we couldn't find an off-season tracker where it was just everything in one page. So we built them.
You're welcome.
Yeah. If you can't find it, build it, right? So,
if you build it, they shall come. Right?
Yeah. But unfortunately, that'll do it for this episode. You will get another episode on Thursday. Don't worry. We're about to go record that bad boy right after we're done here. So thank you so much for joining us in this February live show talking about our top 5 hits and misses from the Chris Grier era. We are so excited to get the Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan era started. We can't wait to start pushing out some content about those two as soon as they start giving us something to freaking talk about. But this actually, I mean, I think we will have stuff soon, Josh, because, of course, everybody's doing the media circuit right now for the Combine. So we're hoping to get some tidbits. We'll start watching those videos, those interviews soon, and we'll get some tidbits we can share with you.
Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. And for Josh, a.k.a. Aqua Ace, over here to my left, I'm Anthony Pinzone. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, fins up, everybody.